What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Aftersound here, bringing you Splinterlands content every single day. We also stream right here on this channel as well as on Twitch, so make sure you come by and say hello. This video is also brought to you by my music, which is available anywhere you stream music under the name Aftersound, and I did release a new song recently called Dreamin', so check it out. Let me know what you think, and I appreciate the support. Okay, guys, let's talk about the team's DEC, because as you can see here, they did get restocked recently, and this has actually come down significantly since the time that they did buy. We were in like the high 30s, 40 million range, and then this shot up over 90 million. So I think they bought like about 60, anywhere from like 50 something to 60 million DEC over the past couple of days. And what's crazy is you could see, if you remember the market and pools, this was like over 300 million for a bit. So they just wiped out the pools, which was great. Well, not wiped it out, but took out a bunch from the pools. And then obviously some players are now selling into this, because remember, this was over 1 billion DEC, the player amount, but now players are selling into that spike in price. Now, unfortunately, Bitcoin decided to do a little dumpity dump, and so we're down to 91,000, 91.7 to be exact, and that's kind of pulled the rest of the market down, right? Hive is below 30 cents, ETH is at 2,400, DEC, SPS, right? Everything is getting impacted by this. So obviously, I'd love for us to be completely decoupled from the market and from Bitcoin, but that's just not the case right now. So there's a lot of liquidity being drained out, a lot of I don't know. We'll have to wait and see how bad this gets and if it's going to get worse before it improves. But the good news is that the team has started buying DEC, and that should continue for the foreseeable future. Now, we probably won't see another buy from them until this gets down. It looks like they were buying in the 40 million range, so this could take another week or so. But keep in mind, if they're buying 40 million per week, we're going to run through the market and pools in maybe a month and a half, like at most, right? And that's the thing. We won't even get through all 248 million. Obviously, players are going to start selling into that, which might extend it. But the point is that once DEC starts to get closer to peg, that is when the magic happens, and they switch from buying DEC to buying SPS and just burning that SPS. Now, that being said, there's still plenty of DEC out in the ecosystem. None of this is getting locked up in the DAO anymore because there's nothing available that is going to lock up DEC in the DAO. So the only way that we can get DEC out of circulation is by burning it, and that's not happening. If anything, there's more DEC entering into circulation, either from SPS getting burned, which probably isn't happening at a high rate, but more likely a lot of the reward cards and older cards getting burned for DEC whenever DEC spikes up the way that it did. So you can even see here, in the last 24 hours, we've added almost 6 million DEC. So, ultimately, we will have to wait, and, we'll have to wait and see how all of this shakes out. Like I said, my guess is that there's probably, I think I said 500 to 700 million potentially, right, DEC that's available in those reward cards, but we are getting survival mode later on this week, so that could mitigate some of that. And again, 507 million DEC is a lot, so keep that in mind. I was saying that that's like the maximum risk. I didn't think that we would actually see that. And I definitely didn't think that we would see it if survival mode came out and was at all, just moderate success for survival mode would push card values up, right? Because people will start renting more cards, they'll start buying more cards, and all of a sudden it'll just be cheaper to sell those cards or rent those cards to people. It'll be more profitable to sell or rent those cards to people than it would be to just, burn them for DEC and get kind of like half the value there. So that is the thought moving forward. Again, I'm just letting you know that the team is starting to buy, so this is getting interesting. And if you think about the timeline of where we're at, I'm recording this on February 24th. So we're closing in on the end of February here. The expectation is that we are going to see the pre-sale for Conclave Arcana roughly within the next 4 to 6 weeks, right? Well, actually, probably a little bit more than 4, so maybe 5 to 6 weeks. If it ends up being early April, then yeah, 5 to 6 weeks. And in that time frame, what are we expecting? Okay, so there's going to be several X factors here. I don't know that they're going to be that major of a factor, but they are still X factors. Obviously, we've talked about them at length, but just to remind folks, we do have survival mode coming out. I don't think that's going to be a massive DEC burn, but if it does spike market activity, that could be something interesting where maybe people start bringing more credits into the game and the team needs to start cycling through and circulating through a little bit more. And it just gets more economic activity, right? More DEC starts getting burned passively. Then obviously the other one is going to be land 1.75. I don't know. There's no announcement for when that date is going to be, actually, right? My guess that I put out there was March 18th. Obviously, if they did it on the 4th, that would be a pleasant surprise. But my guess is it's going to be March 18th. And then we'll probably see Conclave Arcana after that. And yeah, so those two X factors before Conclave Arcana, how much will they burn? How much stimulation is there going to be in the DEC and just Splinterlands economy overall? It's hard. It's hard to tell. I don't think that there's going to be that much for survival mode. For land 1.75, yeah, there's going to be a good amount of DEC that starts getting burned because of all the economic activity there. People need to swap from one to the other, and that's actually going to be a good kind of like nice steady burn as we move forward, just in order for people to stay at whatever rate that they were getting before. It's going to be good in that sense. How much it's going to take in terms of people getting, or like the pools filling up with DEC, it's not even that much now. And let me look at this on a different screen here. So if I go to like land, let's go to Trade Hub. So right now in the grain LP, there's like 25 million DEC. So it's like another 75 million DEC that could get locked up across the other three pools, right? Now, here's the thing. If the returns on that start to look really good, right, there's a lot of economic activity, then each of those pools might end up being higher than 25 million each, right? But at this point, it's like 75 million, which is not insignificant, right? 75 million considering that, there's what, 250 million in pools currently. The company's only sitting on 80 million or 90 million. Yeah, I mean, the players are sitting on a lot, and that may be where a majority of it comes in, right? Because that's not even like 10% of what the players are holding right now. But as we start to get higher up, I do think the players that are holding this, not for Conclave Arcana, not for land, will start to let it go. They'll start to sell it back into the marketplace, and we'll see what that new equilibrium is like. But even with this massive sell-off, even with Bitcoin at 91 today, Bitcoin DEC is still staying at or around the 800 Splintoshi range. Hopefully it doesn't drop too much if it ends up dropping further, but if we start to get a recovery, like we've seen Bitcoin kind of bounce off 90K a couple times, then that could be a positive thing for DEC, as maybe, at least for the time being, we've seen the last of the 700 Splintoshi range once we can recover. But that is all I have for you guys in this video. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Otherwise, I'll catch you all in the next one and see you around the game. Take care.